Commitment 2026 right now. Many eyes are on Kentucky as voters are casting their ballots in a highly contested primary election. Polls are open here for about another couple of hours today.
Yeah, have you seen the ads? I think they've been running
No,
a little bit
not
here
at all.
lately, nonstop, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest races here, of course, is Kentucky's 4th congressional district between Republican incumbent Thomas Massie and the Trump-backed candidate Ed Gallrein. We are leading the way tonight with live team coverage for you, bringing you everything you need to know.
And we begin with WLWT News 5's Todd Dykes live with the very latest from U.S. Representative Thomas Massie's campaign. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Mike and Shreya. Supporters of the representative are making their presence felt here at this hotel that is close to CVG. I've seen a steady stream of people who have ties to the incumbent congressman getting ready for what they hope will be a winning watch party this evening. The doors of this Marriott will open to the public around 6, with the official program set to start at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be covering it all to see if Massie can beat back what's been a barrage of negative campaign ads and pressure from President Trump himself. Now, Massie served 7 full terms in Congress. His previous primaries have mostly been cakewalks. 2 years ago, he won the Kentucky 4th Congressional District GOP primary with 75% of the vote. Tonight's vote is expected to be a whole lot closer. It really could come down to the wire. Again, we'll be covering it all for you. For now, reporting live here in Hebron, Todd Dykes, WLWT News 5.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here, Todd. Thanks so much. So the showdown for the 4th Congressional District, again, it continues with Ed Gallrein, who's looking to unseat Thomas Massie tonight.
The big endorsement by President Trump. Will it carry him to a win? Our team coverage continues with WLWT News 5's Aaron Thomas with a look at a campaign that's gained a whole lot of momentum in recent weeks.
Republican voters here in Kentucky will have to choose between Thomas Massie, a candidate who's held office for 7 terms, or Ed Gallrein, who currently has the endorsement of President Trump. Gallrein is a political newcomer with no previous political experience but an extensive military background. Our Todd Dykes spoke one-on-one with him last week, asking about concerns about automatically going along with the president's plans.
He knows who I am. He knows what I stand for. He knows exactly who he was talking to. I am no rubber stamp. Will never happen.
Gallrein's campaign will be holding a watch party downtown at 6 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Covington, Aaron Thomas, WLWT News 5.
All right, tonight we're going to find out who will be on the Republican side of the ticket in the fight to replace longtime U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell.
Andy Barr and Daniel Cameron are the 2 big Republican names in the running for that spot tonight. And WLWT News 5's Chris Jacobs live for us in Lexington at Andy Barr's campaign watch party. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, Cherie. So it was a little over a year ago, Mitch McConnell announced he wouldn't seek re-election. It was at that moment plans came together for this hotly contested Senate race. As it stands right now, Andy Barr is the likely favorite, running with the support of President Trump, who endorsed the longtime congressman from Lexington at the beginning of the month. His support for the president's agenda has really defined this race. Barr has pitched himself as a battle-tested veteran of Washington who can help President Trump get his priorities passed in the Senate from the very first day that he's in office. Now, it's been since 2013, that Barr has represented Kentucky's 6th congressional district, which represents both Lexington and Richmond. In a recent interview with WLWT, he used verbiage that's very appropriate for the area. He called himself a workhorse and not a show horse. Reporting live in Lexington, Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
Going to be interesting to watch there again. Chris, thanks so much. And now to the other big Republican name, as Chris was talking about, vying for a chance to fill Mitch McConnell's Senate seat.
And we've heard the name before, former Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron challenging Barr. It's going to be an uphill battle in a field of nearly a dozen Republicans. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick continues our team coverage live with the Cameron Watch Party. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, Mike. Well, this is LaGrange, Kentucky. Cameron's watch party here at this event center, but he is facing a challenging race tonight. Daniel Cameron is the former Attorney General. He lost to Andy Beshear in the last governor's race. Today, he is hoping to be the Republican candidate to take the seat of longtime Senator Mitch McConnell. The biggest hurdle, Andy Barr, we just heard about, Trump endorsed. Not only that, but Barr has raised more than $7 million for the campaign. Cameron in the $2 million range. Early polling in March had it a closer race, but this month polls show Barr getting getting in the mid-40s of the vote. Cameron not quite reaching 30%, but the polls and the predictions are all part of the past. Now, voters will determine the victory. Reporting live, Brian Hemrick, WLWT News 5.
All righty, Brian. On the Democratic side, several candidates vying to become the nominee, including a familiar face.
That's right. Northern Kentucky native Amy McGrath stepped into the political stage. You may remember back in 2020 running a very high-profile campaign against Senator McConnell. And WLWT News 5's anchor Ashley Kirkland live in Frankfort tonight for more on McGrath's campaign. Hi, Ash.
Hi, guys. Well, the mom of three and veteran Marine says she thought that her time in politics was over after her hard-fought campaign against the longtime Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. But she says it's young Kentuckians like her children that pulled her back in. Now, she ran a very aggressive campaign against McConnell in 2020 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic and also economic turmoil. Then she was very vocal about health care and economic relief for Kentuckians. And today, McGrath is focusing on affordability, cutting tariffs, and bringing down grocery prices. McGrath, who grew up in Edgewood, Kentucky, and attended Notre Dame Academy, says it's time to put country over party. Now, McGrath did speak with R. Kelly Rippon a few days ago. She pointed to Governor Andy Beshear's ability to reach across the aisle and effectively lead in a red state. She says one way that she wants to reach across the aisle as a Democrat in a red state is to help on border control. Live here in Frankfort, Ashley Kirkland, WLWT News 5.
Ashley, thank you. And while Amy McGrath is running as a more moderate Democrat, her top primary opponent, Charles Booker, has taken a very different approach.
And right now, Booker the favorite. If you look at the latest polls in this race, our team coverage continues in Louisville tonight, and that's where we find WLWT News 5's Rachel Whalen. Rachel.
Hi, Mike and Cherie. Organizers are setting up here inside of Portal, which is a live music venue in Louisville. It will serve as a watch party for Booker tonight. Booker has gone from a little-known state lawmaker from Louisville's West End to one of the most recognizable progressive voices in Kentucky politics. The former state representative and father of three says his campaign is rooted in his own working-class experiences and a belief that Kentucky voters are ready for something different. Booker gained national attention during his 2020 Senate run, building a grassroots following across the Commonwealth. He focused this campaign on issues impacting working families, including health care, higher wages, and affordability. And if he advances tonight, of course, he is one step closer to the general election in an effort to replace Senator Mitch McConnell's position. I'm reporting in Louisville, Rachel Whalen, WLWT News 5.
Rachel, thank you. And WLWT, we're going to be leading the way for you once again tonight with our commitment coverage. We'll have all of the results as polls close tonight and carry the victory speeches from those candidates live here on WLWT. You can also get the very latest from every race on our website anytime. Go to WLWT.com.
Still to come,